Sorry, I'm speaking to my kitten there. Hello. So I forgot to mention about my live this morning. I had a little bit of a mad morning. Got up and I could hear a bit of a drip, 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 drip noise in the kitchen, or a clicking noise, and I started to panic and thought, oh god, we've got a leak, which everybody dreads that drip 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 noise, don't they? And sort of had to clamber under the kitchen units because our stop tap is in the worst possible place in our house. So I had to clamber under the kitchen units, move loads of pans out the way, and like you have to climb into the cupboard. I'm not the slimmest of people, but anyone who's sort of bigger than me, I don't know how, if I have to get a plumber in, they've managed to get in if they're a larger build, obviously. So and I could feel it was a bit damp under there, so I was panicking we had a leak, but I think it's just condensation, and I'm hoping that the clicking or dripping noise was my son was having a shower at the time, so it could have been that, or it could have been just a boiler cooling. So fingers crossed. Please pray for Fiona's pipes. Sounds bad, that. So anyway, I'm sorry I didn't advertise that I was doing a live today, but this is kind of the best time of day, usually before I have to go and get the children from school, if I don't have a client, otherwise around about 4 o'clock. So for anyone who, obviously nobody's jumped on yet, so if you're watching this on the replay, this is the Transformation Through Tarot mini-series, episode 3. I've created I'm creating a series of lives where we look at the tarot, and it's perfect for anybody who would like to know more about the tarot. Perhaps they've got a deck somewhere that they've been a little bit afraid to use, they've not really known what to do to get started with it, or perhaps they're interested in maybe getting a deck for Christmas and starting to use the tarot for themselves. So I just thought I would come up with this mini series for the kinds of questions people have been asking me about tarot. So today's episode, we're going to look a little bit more about how the cards are named and labelled, so to speak, in the tarot deck. So today specifically we're going to be looking at the minor arcana, and then in tomorrow's episode we will be looking at the major arcana. We'll divide it like that rather than do them all in one, because I don't want to go on and on with these videos. I like to keep them to about 10 minutes at the most, 15 maybe. So I've got my Lightseers tarot deck in case I need to pull out some examples. Obviously, as I said when I was going through choosing your deck, I do have a couple of other decks, but I just chose this one out because it reflects like the names of the suits and the numbers and that you get in traditional tarot. With my fairy tarot card, the suits are named after the seasons, and then in the teacup tarot, my new deck, the suits have slightly different names, but I will touch on that anyway. So with tarot, you have the major arcana and you have the minor arcana, and we're looking today at the minor arcana. So the minor arcana reflects different aspects of human nature and everyday events, really, whereas the major arcana, which we'll look at more in detail tomorrow, they are sort of spiritual and life lessons. They are the archetypical people or characteristics that you may experience as you go through your life, whereas the minor arcana, it's sort of everyday events, annoyances, occurrences that you sort of experience during your life, really. And the minor arcana are things that we can change and influence, whereas with the major arcana, they are events that will keep on showing up. If we avoid them happening to us, they will just keep showing up because they are something we need to master and go through in order to move to the next stage or cycle in our lives. So anyway, so that's minor arcana. So the minor arcana are divided into, I'll just get some examples of each suit. They're divided into 4 suits, like your traditional deck of cards, basically. Swords and wands. So you've got, in a traditional tarot, you've got swords, you've got cups, you've got wands, and you've got pentacles. And each of those represents different areas of our life. So wands, I'm just pulling out the Knight of Wands here for an example. These are associated with the element of fire. If you follow the astrological elements, they're associated with the fire star signs and the element of fire, and they represent sort of manifestation, power, energy, and work to an extent as well, motivation, and sort of passion and aspects of our life like that. Whereas if you look at the swords are in line sort of with the element of air, and on the fairy tarot deck the swords are represented by the season of winter, and swords relate to our mental processes, our thoughts, kind of our anxieties. Sometimes they can reflect challenges that we face. They're probably, out of the four, they're probably the more, I don't want to say negative, but they're probably the more challenging suit to get in a reading, the swords. We've got cups, which represent our emotions and our feelings and relationships, and these are represented by, these represent water, the water element, and also the season. In my other tarot deck, in my fairy tarot deck, I think the cups are summer. And then we've got pentacles, which are the earth element. They link with the earth element, and they relate to practical matters. So finances, your home, legal contracts, work and career to an extent, the practical aspects of work and career, whereas the wands relate to like your energy and your motivation and manifestation aspects of sort of work and career. So they are, pentacles are kind of your practical, down to earth grounding and nature, and that they represent that. So we've got the four suits, as you have four suits in cards. You have hearts, spades, diamonds and clubs, don't you, in cards. And then within each suit you have four people, four cards, shall we say, four character cards. And in traditional tarot they are knights, pages, which link with like children and immaturity. Knights are younger adults under the age of 30, obviously, like myself, not. And then kings and queens are your older, sort of, not necessarily men and women with kings or queens. The queens are like a feminine kind of energy, and the kings are sort of a masculine kind of energy, and they can either represent a person who's significant in our life at this time, or qualities that we might need to embrace to get us through something that we're going through currently. With pages it's a bit different because they represent children, and unless you're sort of planning a family or pregnant, they generally represent sort of news coming in or a new opportunity, really, the pages. And then you've got the number cards, which are numbered from ace, which is like number 1, and that's obviously signifies new beginnings. 2 is kind of like sort of coming together, relationship or balancing, and then that goes right up to 10, which signifies sort of coming to an end, the end of a cycle, a life lesson ending, or completion, really. I'll not go into the numbers on this live because I'll be going on forever, but if you've got any questions you can like drop me a message or drop a comment if you're watching on the replay. So yeah, so that's the minor arcana, really. So I'll just pull some examples of the minor arcana out, just to give you a little bit of an example of how I would read the tarot. So say I get this one, the 4 of Wands, say that comes up in a reading. So what I do is I kind of look at the picture, see if anything jumps out. If I'm doing the reading for another person, I'll have a little bit of a discussion with them. I'll say, what springs to mind for you from this image? So the image is acting as a little prompt, and someone might say, oh, I can see like two people dancing and celebrating. To me it means maybe I'm not having enough fun, maybe I'm not enjoying myself enough with my friends, and it could signify this. Someone else, they might see the tent in the background, and that might be significant for them. Someone else might see the musical instruments, and then things will sort of come intuitively through to me as I have the discussion with the client. So 4 of Wands, it sort of represents energy and passion and sort of celebrating, really celebrating what you've achieved so far, rather than feeling like I've got so much more to achieve. You might not be right there yet, but you're celebrating, kind of, you're recognizing what you've gained so far, and it's about remembering to do that rather than thinking about what you've not got. Think about what you've done so far. So it's kind of a card of gratitude as well, the number 4. So let's pick another one from the minor arcana. Let's choose one. 6 of Pentacles is another one. So obviously, as I said, Pentacles represent practical financial matters. 6s, generally, they are sort of stability, moving past a challenge. And the Six of Pentacles, if you can see there, you're giving and receiving in return. So it's about achieving balance, really. It's about, you're making ends meet, you're getting by, you might have got through it, you might have moved on from a difficult period, because the Five of Pentacles sort of signifies financial challenges and hardship. You might have got through that, and you might be in a position where you're putting money, you're working hard, but you're getting something out of it. Your efforts are starting to pay off, and you're in that position of sort of financial stability. And again, I would have a discussion with the person about what this card means for them and what it brings up for them in their unconscious mind. If I was doing a reading, if I was doing a reading or pulling cards for myself, I would sort of ask myself, what does that mean for me at the moment, and how can that relate to my life right now? So yeah, so that's basically the minor arcana. It was a quite short video today because, as I say, I do want to keep them short because I know people haven't got all day to sit watching me do a video. But if anyone has any questions, or they'd like to know a little bit more about some aspects of tarot that I've maybe not covered, then just drop me a message, and we can I can go through that with you a little bit in more detail. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments. Let me know whether you've got your own tarot deck, whether you're thinking about buying a tarot deck, and I'd love to hear from you. So have a great Thursday. My little kitten is on my knee as well. I'm gonna have to lift it up, but I'll just, oh come on, I'll just show you him. Look at that. Look at his little face. He loves it when I'm doing my tarot reading. He's such a baby. Oh, just a sorry sweetheart. He's lovely. He's just so clingy today though, because the children left home after I did this morning, because I was working early, and they shut him in one of the bedrooms, and the poor little thing was crying when I got home, weren't you? He's like my little child. Look at him though. He's just perfect, aren't you? Say bye-bye, Willow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See ya. Crazy cat lady alert.